Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Knox. My name is Michael Mansour. I'm joined as always by my lovely, wonderful co-host, Alexander Volz. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time, and it's a new discography, more or less, per episode. And today we are talking about
The Stooges.
The Stooges. Hell yes. Before we jump into that, if you want to support us, which I'm sure you do, subscribe on youtube.com/everyalbumever. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the things. Sorry, friends, or not. Follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex at
Mother Puncture.
Stay up to date with the artists that we're currently covering. Send DMs, emails, suggestions for artists, comments on that band, whatever. Email any, hate, love, whatever to everyalbumever@gmail.com. And of course, as with every single other episode, there will be a playlist on Spotify. You will find a link. I'm running out of breath. You will find
that
a
real
link.
quick.
I know.
Real quick.
You will find a link in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. There's like we just said, every plays associated with every single episode. You can find them all at everyalbumever.com. You can also just follow Alex directly on Spotify if you want to skip the episode entirely and just listen to music, because music is better than talking. But okay, ran through the plugs. Thank Christ. We're done with that.
And yes, before we get to the end of the episode, you're getting last song because we have the unwritten rule of you get punk stuff, I get metal stuff.
You're right.
I just wanted to say fuck you before you throw me under the bus.
I actually wasn't going to.
Like you did with Fugazi.
So here's the thing. As much as I love the Stooges, and believe me, Stooges are attached to my soul, I would actually not have done that.
Okay.
I think honestly, if you all heard the Fugazi episode, I immediately said, "Fuck you, Alex. I'm taking last song." Fugazi is a special case. It's like Fugazi and I don't know.
He didn't even let me be a gentleman and give it to him anyways.
I took that from him. I took that from him. But also, it's funny that Stooges would qualify as punk because they're pre-punk, but they damn near invented it. In essence.
Yeah, like if you read about them, they get the proto-punk label, which, living in a post-punk world, not the genre. But,
right.
It's interesting because, they're punk to me.
Yeah, and I always thought when I was younger, I would always hear like little discussions about, well, who the godfathers of punk, who really invented punk. It's like, how is that even a discussion? How is that even... Yeah. It's obviously Iggy Pop. It's obviously the Stooges. That's how in the world
is it anyone else?
Yeah. And so anybody who's new or doesn't know the Stooges, you've probably heard of Iggy Pop. He's the greatest man who's ever lived. He's my father. And he's a beautiful soul. He's also infinity years old. Yes. And he's never going to die. Please don't die, Iggy. I don't want I really I love Iggy Pop. I don't want him to die. But
I will also say about the Stooges, it was interesting when I was getting into punk rock, or you hear people complain about punk rock that it's like too noisy and too fast. And then I listened to the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, and I'm like, this is pop. This is pop.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And then I feel like the Stooges, I was like, they made being noisy and abrasive cool.
Very cool. They're technically a 60s garage rock band.
Yeah.
But
because their peers are like the MC5.
Yeah. And they started, late 60s. But and this is so funny how quickly they go from being a 60s garage rock band to being just the Stooges, and I don't know what else this is. This is just the Stooges.
Yeah.
Just the way it's produced, the way it's presented. Iggy Pop being the most rabid vocalist of that entire era.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of a kind. That, there was no one else like him.
Also, I don't know if there's another band. Well, there probably is, but this is one of the few bands where people are obsessed with mixes. Almost every album.
Mm-hmm.
You can find minimum of 2 different mixes of the albums, and people will debate over, which one is better. And
I only have words about I feel like is the most famous of those, which is the third album.
Yeah.
That's I have strong feelings. I think everyone probably agrees on what a better mix of that one is.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about it more, but Jesus Christ, it's and it makes me think about, because you hear about the Stooges and their early albums being on all, like, your favorite band kind of shit, that, like Kurt Cobain citing Raw Power as like over and over again. But like back then they had only the shitty mixes.
Yeah.
So it's like, man.
Yeah. If you were a fan, like you really liked
them.
Yeah. I remember I was familiar with I Want to Be Your Dog. That's like their most famous song.
I think Search and Destroy is probably their most famous song.
Really?
That one's in movies.
So is I Want to Be Your Dog. Anyways.
Okay.
I was familiar with that. And then I would watch the Dogtown and Z-Boys documentary a lot. And they play Give Me Danger. And they just... Oh, yeah. It was so fucking cool the way that song like sync up with these like... Dude, because the skateboarding when the Z-Boys were doing it was again very like proto-punk.
Yeah.
Like skateboarding wasn't this full-on punk thing. But it was. And so like, man, I was just like, yeah, I need to check out more of the Stooges.
Yeah, and so they didn't get their due when they were around. They were dropped pretty quickly. It was like a real Big Star situation, pretty much. And then they reunited many years later, many years older. And with those early albums, each one sounds pretty much like a different band, which is very cool. But I don't know why. I have my favorites and everything from the original discography, but I couldn't tell you why I like each one individually, because they all kind of go against things that I typically like. I just happen to like them all.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Yeah.
So weird, like garage rock, then this weird fucking jammy shit, then this rock and roll band. Like they're all, and it was all within like 5 years. It's like, it's the
real
craziest
quick.
thing.
It's real quick. So yeah.
All right. So I feel like this is probably not going to be too long of an episode. Very short discography. They only have 5 albums total. First album 1969, last album 2013. So you know what happened in between. A lot of space in between.
Are you kidding me? You're going to talk about these albums at great length.
Probably.
This is not. Yeah, we're talking about an hour 30 minimum here.
Oh, you hear that? All right.
I'm calling it.
All right.
Babe Ruth.
Calling it fine then. Hour 10.
Hour 10. All right.
All right. My Price is Right rules here. I was going to say an hour 31. But okay. So backstory.
From Ann Arbor, Michigan, Iggy Pop grew up playing the drums.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Also, a thing I would never guess.
Also, I wanted to rewatch the documentary because I hadn't seen it in so long. I don't fucking remember anything from it.
What's it called?
I think it's called Gimme Danger.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
By
I never saw it.
Mr. Jim Jarmusch. So yeah, I just didn't remember it, but it wasn't streaming anywhere. So whatever. Have to go with my own opinions.
So Iggy, for those who don't know, James Osterberg.
Yeah, I was going to try to say his government name.
Yeah, I think it's Osterberg or Jim Osterberg. Like, of all the things you would never think he's named, it's like this most Jewish sounding regular guy with glasses.
But yeah, they were originally called the Psychedelic Stooges, and they had more like a avant-garde, like Velvet Underground sound to them. And yeah, somehow they went from that stumbling into, what we all know and love today. And yeah, they were I forget which label. They sent someone out to see the MC5. They gave MC5 a lot of money, and they gave the Stooges very little.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was just like, this seems risky, but we're interested. Here's $500.
Was it literally? Oh man, I was like, holy shit, that's really mean.
It might have been 5,000, which
that's still.
Yeah.
I mean, these days you can record now for $20, but like back then, not literally $20, maybe $200, but still extremely cheap these days. Back then, that's fucking insulting. But they seem to manage okay, at least in terms of what came out of it.
Well, yeah, it's the famous like artist Van Gogh thing. Like, they don't love you when you're around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not until later on.
Right.
And I'm sure, Iggy Pop being friends with David Bowie and having a somewhat more successful solo career.
I would say significantly more successful. Yeah.
Yes, that really helped the legacy of the Stooges for sure.
Definitely. And it's like his solo stuff. I've only heard a few albums here and there, and it's fine. It's good stuff. But boy, is it not the Stooges. Like, there's Stooges were a very distinct thing.
I don't know why I've never listened to any of his solo albums. I've heard good things about the one with Lust for Life on it, and then Kill City.
Kill City. I'm going to talk a lot about Kill City when we get to Raw Power. Yeah. That's stuff that I wasn't expecting him to sound like holy shit, this really works. Fucking saxophone's interesting. A lot of that with Iggy Pop. You never know. But so Iggy Pop, I've always called him the king of rock and roll just because he doesn't die, and he's always at fucking 12. He's always at 12. He's 73 now or something like that, and he is still shirtless and he's still going strong.
Also, cool story. My friend was very nice and gave me tickets to Ash vs. Evil Dead premiere, and I took Mike, and Iggy Pop played the premiere, and this was like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and he was fucking old then. And it didn't sound great, but it was amazing.
I thought it was awesome. It was so fun. Yeah. I was so glad that I got to see him. It
was really fun, even in his old age. Like, it's almost like, I don't care how he sounds. It's just fucking cool to see him.
He's great.
Dancing and being weird.
Doing his fucking weird hip thing where he does that. Like, that's one thing Henry Rollins has said repeatedly. He even said it on the Gun Club documentary I was watching for the last episode, that Iggy Pop can't be a waiter. Like, no, he can do the one thing really, really well. He can't do anything else. That's all he can do. And his thing is being a fucking showman.
That's all he knows.
It's great. It's great too. And also, like, if you're because I've heard people who aren't really music heads and people who just frankly don't know shit, like, kind of take a crap on Iggy Pop because let's just say he's not the most fucking technically operatic singer.
It doesn't matter.
Thing is, he's also not a bad singer. He's got
range, like
incredible range.
Or I should say, like, he's got versatility.
Yeah, range not as in number of notes, but range as in
where
things
he does.
Yeah. He does the little croon thing, and then he does it all.
Yes,
he does it all. And dude, get fucking the singer from, I don't know, Minus the Bear or some other bullshit band to do something like that. I fucking dare you. Like, no offense to them, but like, that kind of stuff means more to me. That stuff is way more interesting, where you just don't know what they're going to do next. That's what makes a wonderful vocalist, in my opinion. But I guess we'll start.
Yes.
There we go. This is self-titled 1969, The Stooges.
Sorry, my mouse got stuck.
All right.
Yeah, the production with like the hand claps and everything is just so crisp.
It's super 60s, but it doesn't sound like it was recorded in a fucking closet the way a lot of 60s albums do.
There's dirt on it too. It's not like the most dangerous Stooges song, but
just not at all. Also, lyrically, I want everyone to hear this next verse. It blows my mind, and it never will stop. Okay.
I didn't have a lot of fun, and now I'm gonna be 22. I say oh my and a boo-hoo.
Poetry. Last year I was 21. Now I'm gonna be 22. Oh my and a boo-hoo.
He rhymed boo-hoo twice.
This is the worst album lyrically I think I've ever heard in my life.
I disagree.
Are you kidding me? Hold on. First of all, those are fucking hilarious. Hilarious lyrics.
It's funny, but it works for what the song is.
That's not the only song, though.
No.
Real cool time. You want to have a real cool time?
But compared to what we get later.
Okay, fair enough. The thing is, later on, I don't think they're as bad. It's just that he's older, so it's like stupider. Here, he's clearly a kid writing what a kid would write because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
However, it is a great fucking album, but
of course, these first 3 albums are all classic.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad song on here except for "We Will Fall."
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I've never liked it. I've never liked it. I've always skipped it. Like, I heard you humming it earlier.
Oh, shit. I'm getting an identity quick because I thought I knew you, Alex. I thought I knew you. I don't fucking know who you are anymore.
I've never, if that song was 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
It's 10. It's
10. It's 10 minutes and it's not cool.
I think it's very cool.
I don't think it's cool enough to go on 10 minutes.
Okay, so I have problems with that song, but my main problem with the song is that it's track fucking 3. That's insane. That's insane. You don't put a 10-minute psychedelic track as the third track on an album where every other song is like 1969, which is fun loving garage rock.
Well, I think the counterpoint, or not counter, but like Anne is perfect.
Anne is good.
Yeah.
Anne is a great ballad. But the reason why I like We Will Fall so much, first of all, I would have killed for it to be the closing track because I think Little Doll is whack and it's a horrible closer. But We Will Fall is like, okay, we're going to make a psychedelic song, except we don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just weirdly drugged up, almost Eastern sounding, long droney. And I love the way Iggy sounds in there because it's because the most of the album, he just sounds like a kid. He doesn't sound like Iggy Pop. And then there he started doing, and he started like, oh wait, what is he doing? This is kind of like where he's growing into what we know him as. I like that.
It's cool in concept, but it's just like it doesn't do anything different. It just goes on for 10.
I think it's hypnotic and very cool. Shouldn't be track 3 though. It kills the pacing of the album pretty badly.
And then you know who produced this, right?
Oh, don't tell me. Don't fucking tell me.
It's someone you hate.
Someone I hate. Lou Reed?
Close.
John Cale?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What? He did a great job.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get like the deluxe edition that's streaming, they have the remastered ones, and then right after they have the John Cale mix. So
do you put on like any song of your pick of the John Cale mix? I'm curious.
I guess, we'll do it because. Oh wait, sorry. Here we go. It's like muddier.
Oh yeah, that's very fuzzy.
Also, I think this should have been the intro of the first track, just because.
Oh, I Want to Be Your Dog?
Yeah.
Really? I like it as a second track. I've always really liked heavier, faster, crazier second tracks.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like, it lulls you in with the first one that's kind of mellow, and then it fucking kicks your ass. And
that's true.
Yeah. It's way fuzzier. It's way dirtier.
Yeah.
It's actually, oddly enough, kind of more 60s sounding, which I could do without, honestly. I like how not 60s this album sounds from a production standpoint, yet how 60s it is from a written and performance.
Just dabbling our toes in that, I think the remastered version may be the way to go. Because I don't think the John Cale version was made available until like around 2005, around there. And yeah, that continues like the trend of like the Stooges is have these like dope people mixing and producing their albums. I Want to Be Your Dog. I like what can you say about that hasn't already been said? And it's just the Christmas bells are such an interesting choice
and wonderful choice. Because the first time I heard that song, and I heard it repeatedly because of Sonic Youth. I was shown Sonic Youth before the Stooges when I was a kid. And they always cover that. It's like literally on the first album, like a live cover of it. And I liked it. Like I knew it was a cover, and I knew that I liked the song fine. And then I didn't really hear like this whole album until I was an adult already. And because I was shown the Stooges at a young age, but only like one album.
Yeah.
So I went back to this one way later, and I was very surprised that I have no idea why I like this album so much. On paper, it's everything I hate. It's the most generically, like basic as shit garage rock. Like
it's good. It's hooky.
I know, but like everything about it is like, yeah, these songs I don't think could be written today because they're so fucking simple. They're so basic and simple, but the way they're presented is like you said, the Christmas bells, and I Want to Be Your Dog, and also the fact that
I think the guitar riff is real fun.
The guitar riff is fine and it has the Christmas bells. The bass line isn't following it, and for some reson, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like the bass line just hanging on that root note gives it another I don't want to say dimension, but kind of dimension. So it just doesn't feel like it's these idiots just playing the same three notes back to back over and over again. It feels like it's just more interesting.
Also, we didn't bring up Ron and Scott.
Ron and Scott Asheton,
yes,
guitarist and drummer respectively, I believe.
Yes,
brothers. So how did they come about?
I didn't really get their backstory. I wanted to bring them up because it's like those two and Iggy are like
that's
the
Stooges.
Stooges.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up because they're, just as important as Iggy is.
Very important. We're looking at the cover art right now. They all look like the same guy. I mean, like which one? Who are the Ashens?
I'm gonna assume they're the two guys facing to the right because the other dude looks more like Iggy Pop.
I thought the guy in the front was Iggy. I'm pretty sure.
No, that's what I mean. It's Iggy, and then I should look up this bass player's name
because even there, Iggy doesn't look like Iggy. He looks like a guy. He just looks like a regular dude.
Well, yeah, he's a young man there,
young boy. This album always felt like an anomaly to me because I never heard it growing up. I always saw the cover and I could never tell, like, this doesn't look like the Stooges. How is this the Stooges? Iggy Pop doesn't look. Iggy Pop is that weird skinny buff guy with the weird hair. Like, I don't see him anywhere here.
No, like you said, more of if it wasn't like a black background, it's a pretty like traditional like 60s, 70s album cover.
Even the logo of the band name is super 60s. Like,
I think that goes into them being the psychedelic Stooges before.
Right.
Dave Alexander is the bass player on here. Yeah, I'm going to assume the guys on the left are Iggy and Dave. And then the other two are Ron and Scott.
So I actually don't, I mean, Little Doll, like I said, is my least favorite song in here, but I also don't care for Real Cool Time. I don't hate it. It's a fine song.
I think Real Cool Time is fucking insane.
I think it's hilarious. No, I like Iggy on there for sure. But goddamn, even the phrase "real cool time" sounds riddled with acne. Like it's just, you want to have a real cool time, Daddy-O?
Yeah.
Like it's just fucking hilarious.
It's just non-stop shredding from Ron though.
That's
and then
right.
Everyone else is just playing it straight. It's crazy.
I can't help but always fall back on how Iggy does on every album and every song pretty much, because here it's like he's barely even singing. He's so fucking basic. Like we heard from the opening track, he's very, very simple stuff. And then every once in a while he'll just start fucking just completely out of nowhere, which it's super cool. It sounds great, but you have no idea. Like, when did he decide to like, just, you know what? This is my thing now. I'm going to keep doing that and stop singing.
I don't know, but bless him.
I know, because it's even on 1969, at the very end, he starts screaming it. And it's like, oh, this sounds fucking great. Why didn't he do this the whole song?
Yeah.
The same with Never. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Well, Real Cool Time, he does that shit too.
Yeah.
But everything else is just, it's just some kid on the mic. I don't know how much more I can reiterate that.
Yeah. And then I guess the last one we'll talk about is No Fun. I kind of like how like monotone his vocals are.
Yeah.
But it's not a boring song.
No, great song.
And yeah, it's like a phrase you hear in real life. I have other songs like this, but yeah, whenever I hear people say it, in real life. The song "This Immediately"
Yeah.
goes to my head.
That one and Not Right. Totally covered a million fucking times. Great songs. It's actually funny to me how many of these songs I heard as covers before hearing this actual album. It's just, I said this before we started recording that Henry Rollins said he used this album as like a neutral sound test for any new speakers that he gets, because he's like, because if there's like wrong with the album, if it sounds bad, it's the speakers.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I was under the assumption that when you get new speakers, you like work up. And this isn't like super abrasive, but there's still some like feedback and stuff. So like you start off with like some like Nina Simone or something, and then you work your way into the Stooges.
Well, to be fair, some of the more rockin' tracks, No Fun, Not Right, 1969. There was like no studio effects. They are clean, raw. These dudes are in the room with you, very crisp. Sounds great.
Maybe you just turn it down for the intro on "I Want to Be Your Dog" and then the guitar solo.
Yeah,
that's like the noisiest track on here, probably.
Yeah. And then stuff like "And" and "We Will Fall" gets really, really echoey. But other than that, I can't believe how good this sounds compared to every other album from '69. It's just weird to me how clean it is.
This may be the craziest fucking like one of the best albums we've given no accolades.
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
It's
just that's just what the Stooges are. They're one of the greatest bands that ever existed, and that is only some bias. I'm only biased because like I went back to these guys as an adult and then rediscovered how amazing they were. So there's not that much bias. I swear to God.
I can't believe I'm more punk rock than Mike and thought they were cool.
I only heard one album when I was a young boy. I only had the one album. But let us move on to another beloved album, because they're all beloved. This is 1970s Funhouse.
This is one of the greatest. Like, when I go to a bar, I want to hear shit like this.
This is what I want to hear. I want to hear those fucking banshee shrieks, dude. Iggy's being crazy. Iggy now sounds like Iggy. Like, 100%. God damn, this is badass.
Oh man, I love good sleazy rock and roll, and this is
sleazy, grimy, oily, fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that production, man. It has just the right amount of space. Iggy's produced exactly the way he should be. He sounds like he's fucking screaming at you from the back of the room. I could listen to this shit all day. We have to lower because this is I'll get into it.
It's so interesting. It was like originally recorded like a like fancier production. They had them in like different rooms, and they were like really trying to like play up the production. Band was like, this just sounds like shit. We gotta do it like we do it live. And I don't even think Iggy, I think he just used like a traditional like live microphone.
Wow. Like the kind of mics we're using essentially.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So good on them to like be like, no, we gotta
make it like, if this is it that always translate. Like if you try to record something not the way you wrote it, practiced it, fucking lived it, it doesn't sound right. Even if it sounds good, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah. I think that's a important thing to like recognize. If you're a band, you can 100%. Be like, it sounds great, but is that really us?
100% best personal favorite. This is
nice.
This is like, I think this is damn near flawless. I really don't have enough words for this album.
I think I don't want to say like flutters or gets a little weaker towards the end, but the end is definitely like,
it's weaker. for sure.
It's weaker, so yeah.
Yeah, it's weaker. The reason why I still like it, at least from a conceptual standpoint, is because it starts out with that fucking tight hard rock, batshit crazy, and as with every song, it just falls apart more and more until you get to LA Blues, which is a fucking catastrophe. It's just like put on LA Blues because you all heard how the album started. This is how the album ends.
Before I play it, I like noise, but I think I like structured noise. There's nothing structured about this.
God damn, I love Iggy.
It's
fucking cat noises, man.
It's like when you go to a concert and they're doing the end of the song.
Yeah, but forever.
But for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So this is the song, everybody. That's the song. And I get it. It's not pleasing to the ear. I get it. However, it's barely a song. But again, every song, even the title track, which I fucking think is great, really fun, it still falls apart like that. It has all these crazy saxophones in there. It's fucking really wild. It's super wild, but it falls apart. And it has this weirdly kind of like consistent trajectory, even though the album feels really chaotic.
I agree. There's this, overarching thing because 1970 is almost like the bastard brother of We Will Fall.
Are you serious?
Like, and the fact that it like goes on for a while,
yeah.
And I think it's a better song.
It's a classic, man. I fucking love that song.
I don't think or I should say it's more like its cousin, where I think there's similar aspects of it.
It does go on quite a bit,
and and then the longer 1970 goes on, the more unhinged it gets, and then this feels like Funhouse and LA Blues are an extension of but I almost wonder, because the front half of the album is a rockin' good time.
The front half is one of the best first halves of any album in the world.
Then they say, let's bring in the saxophonist, and the saxophonist is amazing.
Oh, he's great.
I love it.
Yeah. Who's playing it?
Let me look that up. But I almost wonder if it would work better if it was like the Steve McKay.
Steve McKay.
I almost wonder if it was like, oh, we'll do like a hard rock song and then a saxophone song, and then if they like staggered them like that. But that's more like a curiosity thing than a complaint.
Right. I remember reading a thing a long time ago. I don't know if it was the producer or someone at the label, because they're on Elektra at this point. That they originally planned on starting the album with. Let me check real quick. I'll look at the track list. I forgot. I think they wanted to start the album with Loose, but then like whoever it was said, you know what, started with Down on the Street, and then listening to it with that context, it's like, oh, Down on the Street is the perfect opener. Yeah. It's perfect as an opener. And dude, that first fucking half, man, like Loose is like once again a perfect follow-up song. It's way more high energy. It's way crazier. And then TVI.
Well, let me say about Loose when he says "stick it deep inside," which is double entendre for heroin and having sex, kind of reminds me of Lou Reed, and I don't know if that's because when you're on heroin, you just sound like that, right?
Lou Reed is the personification of heroin. 100%.
TVI's. I'm gonna play it. Again, one of their more popular songs, but I want people to pay attention to that opening scream.
Oh, yeah. Very important scream.
Lord!
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
God damn, this song is so fucking good.
I feel like our regular talking point, Ian McKay, made a whole career. Mackay.
Wait, you what?
Oh yeah, I'm good on the song.
Okay.
If you are, I feel like he made a whole career out of that scream,
dude. Yeah, Guilty of Being White. That's the first. Exact same scream.
Almost exactly. And then it's funny, because there's certain guitar riffs on Dirt, where I'm like, that's like a bluesy Fugazi.
Oh yeah, dude, Dirt. I remember I didn't used to like it when I was younger, but dude, it's long and sick, but super groovy, and it just kind of lulls you in, and like, I'll just put on a little bit of that bass line.
And it's gonna play the whole album.
That's the thing. Like you put on like the beginning of every song, but it's so they go on and they keep elaborating that, not really spoiling anything. That's what I like about it.
Dirt also like one of the quickest 7 minutes.
Oh yeah,
because they were fans of the Doors, so this is also like that guitar.
Yeah, you're right. Completely.
Very Fugazi.
That's a total. I don't know if it's Ian who did that more or Guy, but just rhythmically kind of scraping it and stuff.
But the Stooges like the Doors, and this is kind of like a Doors song twisted into a Stooges song.
Especially with Iggy. Iggy's amazing on there. Like, God, I just love him because that's his way on that song of being subdued. Where he's doing a lot of, and then eventually he does his fucking banshee cries. But man, we basically just ran through every song. But I don't know, like this feels it's so fucking consistent, man.
You got to on these first 3 albums. I'm kind of glad they like reunited.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a worse album out of these 3,
it would be hard. But I think this might be my favorite Iggy performance just ever because he's so wild, but he's also still, I don't know, like he does more stuff later. He gets more things in his repertoire later, but here it's just such a contained package where every song is very samey to the point. Like the first half is rockin' good time, fucking garage rock, but like on a lot of acid.
Yeah.
But I can't think of many albums, even within plus or minus 5-year period, that even come close to this level of insanity.
The next
other bands, peers. But like, because this is so fucking pissed off. It's like one of the most angry produced albums because it's not messy. It's just, it seems messy because nobody's losing time with each other.
No,
nobody's
it's executed.
Yeah, it's very tight, but it just sounds like a fucking clusterfuck.
And then so with the exception of Ron, the whole band became addicted to heroin.
Oh, lovely. Oh.
And then because of the heroin and not really like making it, because again, all these albums critical and commercial failures.
Of course, because the world knows best, right?
Yeah.
Christ,
so
man.
they broke up.
Weren't they dropped from Elektra after this album?
I don't know the exact intricacies of it, but they broke up, and then so after breaking up, Iggy became friends with Bowie, and Bowie got him a new record contract. And they wanted to do, it's so weird. They wanted to like still call it the Stooges, but with different musicians. And I think Iggy was just like, it's not right. So they bought back. I'm singing that right. Yeah, they bought back the Asheton brothers. Ron switched over to bass, but But because they're on a different label, they're now Iggy and the Stooges.
That's why they're Iggy and the Stooges.
And it's very annoying on Apple Music. Spotify got their shit together.
Really?
And this
compiled it
as it should be.
Dude, Apple fucking sucks. Dude, we've said it a few times. It keeps happening. It keeps coming out. I'm about to fucking switch.
Just over, because I think they just throw shit on there and it's very like a computer can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Just overwrite it and say it's fucking going in here.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the second time that we've lost our shit over Apple miscategorizing things. But on Apple, so out of the 5 albums, 3 of them are under the Stooges and the other 2 are under Iggy and the Stooges. Because why not?
Yeah.
But the next one is under Iggy and the Stooges. This is 1973's Raw Power. Oh, crank that motherfucker.
Sorry. This is a dirty sounding mix I can get behind.
Oh yeah.
I'm a street walking cheetah with a hat full of napalm.
Wait, you put on the boy mix, didn't you?
I did.
Oh,
Sorry, that's the first one.
oh, that's the
From. Oh wait.
that is not the mix you got to go with.
All right. When I will do.
However, this song is still so fucking incredible. Also, Iggy sounds a lot different.
Yes, he does. Also, the way Iggy mixed the album sounded very like I think Bowie said he walked in with like 24-track recorder, and he just put the vocals on one track, and then I think everything else on the second track.
Bowie had no fucking idea how to mix, man. It's insane. It is a rough mix. So let's talk a little bit, because I got a lot to say about this.
So,
mostly the mixes, honestly.
Yeah. So, personal best.
All right.
I don't think there's any filler on this album. It's just noisy as hell. This, like, when I think of the Stooges and like what a crazy person Iggy Pop is on stage, cutting himself and fucking smearing peanut butter on his chest.
Yeah.
And I think he's
like a real vocalist.
Yeah, and I think he's had like gonorrhea like 13 times.
That's probably fucking a low count of all the STDs this motherfucker's had.
That's a real conservative.
Oh yeah, that's being very modest on his part. Look at this motherfucker. You tell me he doesn't have gonorrhea as we speak?
But yeah, when I think of Iggy Pop and the Stooges, I think this is, man. And then for whatever reason, Ron slides over on bass and they bring in
James Williamson,
an angel,
a
certified
dude. This guy is so interesting,
madman,
insane dude.
He is a mad scientist with the guitar, and
he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I don't know much about him personally.
I'll tell you a little bit about him in a second. But first, I want you to put on back to back if you can find both mixes.
I can. I pulled up the Iggy mix.
Okay, so this is how much better the Iggy mix is compared to the Bowie mix.
Am I playing the same song?
No.
What song?
Penetration. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about Penetration, because it's a fucking amazing song for one. Iggy sounds like a real predator on there.
Yes.
It's a fantastic song. It's one of my favorite Stooges songs of all time.
He doesn't have enough songs about fucking.
He does not. Look at the man. This dude fucks. So the Iggy version is the one that I grew up with. This is the album that I grew up with. This is the one Stooges album that I grew up with. Put on Iggy's version of Penetration first, please. God damn, this is a great fucking hook, man.
It's great. It kind of reminds me of Gimme Danger, but dirtier.
Dirtier, sleazier. Yeah.
He's like...
Yeah, he's breathing. All right, now put on the Bowie mix. First of all, no reverb. Now this is the right here. No bells.
Oh yeah,
that whole little bell thing is gone. It sounds like it's recorded in the closet.
Yeah, you're right.
It's significantly worse. So like, and even the same thing with like "Gimme Danger," which is you brought it up earlier. Fucking one of the greatest songs ever written. It loses that crispy, clean acoustic guitar on the Bowie mix, or doesn't lose it, but just never had it.
It's funny because they consider that a ballad.
It kind of is by their standards.
Sure.
I mean, you got to put on. I don't know. You know what?
I want to give you some room.
Give me some room, because like that song, it's one of my favorite Iggy crooning performances, because like he does that thing where he did on Penetration, where he's being that really creepy, breathy, almost whisper, and then in Search and Destroy, where he's actually singing, kind of yelling. Then in Gimme Danger, he does that nasally croon, where it's really heavy on the vibrato, really like, it's just every song he's a different guy.
Yeah, it's why he's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. That is one of the filthiest tracks.
It is a fantastic song title. I love Iggy on there. He's fucking batshit. Don't care for the song.
Wow.
And here's the thing about this. The reason why I have problems with this album, every other song it gets progressively more and more rock and roll. It starts out with Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell.
Yeah.
And then it moves on to the title track and then Shake Appeal. Like they just keep getting more and more traditional rock and roll.
I like the title track because they figured out a way to make acoustic piano abrasive.
Put that on. Give me a sample.
The fucking guitar. I didn't time mark the guitar solo. And I'm playing the Iggy Pop version from here on out. But man, the guitar solo is amazing but abrasive.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Dance to the beat of the living dead. Lose sleep, baby, and stay away from bed. Raw power is sure to come running to you.
That's a great little hook, especially at the end there.
If you're alone and you
So the problems I have with the rock and roll songs is not that none of them are bad songs. Although I do argue that Shake Appeal is not great.
I think Death Trip is the weakest track, but
I don't think it's that bad, but like, again, the same thing with the other ones. It's that the highs on here are so fucking absurdly in the clouds that like a fine, fun rock and roll song doesn't come anywhere near to fucking I Need Somebody.
Sure.
Like, that song is sexy as shit, dude.
Yeah,
I want to fucking blow Iggy after that one. It's insane. Like, so for that track, it's probably not that much better, but on the Iggy mix of that one, his voice is ear-piercingly loud. It's like, I don't know what they crank the highs or something, but it hurts. It's too loud. And sounds pretty shitty. But his performance is strong. The song is really great. It's like the other acoustic, quote unquote, song. But it's just really, I don't know. I really hesitate to use words like seductive and sexy when I'm talking about Iggy Pop because it's fucking gross. But that song is fantastic. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I'm maybe this one I'll do a deep dive into the mixes.
Okay.
Cuz Bowie, I think he did it in one day. He was not given to Bowie's credit. He was not given ample time to.
How high was he?
I don't think he was.
Really?
Yeah, like Iggy said it was done on like an older board, like something Elvis would record on. He said it was a cheap studio.
That's one thing about I would say both mixes. This entire album does not sound like it was recorded in one studio, one session. It sounds fucking mismatched. Every single song sounds like a different, not just a different band, but sounds like a different entire setup because of how, like, some songs sound really cheap and really kind of abrasive. And then you hear shit like Give Me Danger where it's fucking crisp and clear and beautiful. It's just like, did they have more money on some songs than others? I don't understand.
It's very interesting how like that can happen when it's in, I think it was all recorded in one studio. But yeah, it's interesting how you can do that with the power of production.
You can do a whole lot. Dude, we sound great on these mics because of production. This is not expensive equipment.
Yeah.
But so to talk a little bit about James Williamson, that was awesome. He's great. Good guitar player. Huge, wonderful addition to the band. I think is a pretty objective statement. This guy, I've seen interviews with him as an adult, like later in life. And I think he had like a very, very successful career working for Sony.
Interesting.
Like as like an executive or something like that.
Yeah.
And which is wild to begin with. And then I don't remember who the interview was. It might have been one of those noisy interviews, you know?
Oh yeah.
I forget the guy's name. He does interviews with like really, really good and underrated guitarists. He did one with like Dean Ween, St. Vincent and all that stuff. or Annie Clark, whatever her real name is. And he did one with James Williamson. And this dude goes into his technique, quote unquote, and his technique is using fake press-on nails.
What the fuck?
You know, like the kinds that like Latinas or just children use. Yeah. So he pulls out a bag of like hundreds of these fake press-on nails. He's like, yeah. So you clip these on like this, and he just go to town, and he starts fucking going crazy. Like,
man,
it's just the wildest thing I've ever seen. I've never even heard of that.
What a thing to think of.
Yeah. And my question was like, you couldn't have been doing this in the 70s. Like, did they have fake press on? I mean, probably disco era.
And was he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But that's even funnier to me that he may have discovered that as an elderly man. Like, that's such a fucking...
You're right.
It's a great visual.
Yeah, that's better that he discovered it late in life as an old man and not a crazy punk rock guy.
Yeah. But he still sounds great. He has this really distinct... It's like sloppy, but it's not because he's bad. It just seems like he just can't control his own hands.
Mm-hmm.
It seems it's just really fast. It's really fucking lick heavy. And it's dirty. It's one of the dirtiest guitar tones I've you're in this entire era. Wonderful dude.
I love it.
So talk a little bit about Kill City, the Iggy album that he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like recorded around the same time as this, or maybe probably a little bit after. But it wasn't released till like 1977. And that album, it has that really shitty, early 70s production where it's really mono. There's no real dynamics. It all sounds like a flat wall. But that album, Kill City, I highly recommend it. It's really good. It's doesn't sound anything like the Stooges. It's really heavy on saxophones. It has a lot of maybe what like the title track here, and maybe Shake Appeal. It has like a lot of that kind of styling. It's really rock and roll heavy, but I don't know. It holds up, and it's really fun album. I wish I knew more about the backstory of that one, but I didn't know until recently that it was recorded right around this time period.
I'm looking at the wiki page. It says 75.
75?
75.
That's when it was released, or was it when it was recorded?
When it was recorded.
Recorded. Okay, so it was much after this, but
and then surprise, surprise, they broke up because of heroin again.
Because of heroin. Oh boy.
And then Iggy did things like Kill City and had his solo career, whatever.
Long, lengthy, nice solo career. He had songs on cruise commercials.
Yeah, Train Spotting,
yeah.
all sorts of things. Asheton Brothers kind of kept their heads down.
Didn't do anything else.
Kind of this. They probably did stuff, but nothing like. I don't want to say of note because it might be cool. I've never.
Right, but it's nothing that's come up repeatedly.
Yeah. So and then fast forward to 2000. Oh man, I didn't write it down.
The reunion?
Not even the reunion. Iggy is recording an album called Skull Ring.
Oh, was it 2003?
Might be. And 2003. And for some reason in that album, he decided to do some songs with the Stooges with Mike Watt on bass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which sounds like a dream.
It sounds like a dream come true, really.
And I listened to the Stooges songs. We're not going to do like a proper Skull Ring thing, but they're okay. They're okay. They're nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
If this, it kind of gives you hope.
Yeah. Gives you hope.
Yes. So,
but it's like also a weird thing that they did reunite completely. So it's like, it's the original lineup, but with Watt on bass instead of Dave Alexander.
Yes. And it's interesting to me that it was for an Iggy solo album and not a Stooges album, but they were like, hey, that's because Dave Alexander died in 75. So
I didn't know that.
So you can't really bring him back unless you want to put Ron on bass and do James Williamson.
Right.
But yeah, so they like out of that, they like reunited, did the whole tour thing and said, let's record another album.
Let's go back into the studio because we're 70 years old and we need to write more, which is a thing that should never happen. It's not true. It's not a thing that should never happen. It's a thing that should seldom happen.
I
would say. But you never know. You never know. You never know.
Here's the thing. Well, let's get into it.
We still got 2 albums. So
Yes.
this is 2007's The Weirdness.
And this song is like, this song's on Skull Ring where you're like, it's okay.
Is it? I was worried by this song alone. I was like, oh.
See, because I warmed up with Skull Ring, so
I see long legs riding me.
Iggy does not sound good.
Hair has energy.
also
My dick is turning into a tree.
My dick is turning into a street.
these lyrics are awful
They're
on
not
this
good.
album.
They're not good.
They're shitty.
It's so fucking funny though.
Rock critics wouldn't like this at all.
I hate this riff so much.
Here's my face, he's riding my balls. You can't tell me this is not a swap thing to do.
See, this isn't like
I hate this chorus.
really.
I hate this chorus.
I don't think it's bad.
It gets worse. I hate that though so much. I do think it gets worse. It does get worse. But okay, so we're not where we were. This is a different thing.
Yeah, obviously, it's a different thing. Also,
Worst. This is
least favorite.
this is
Yeah,
spectacularly bad. This is spectacularly
insane.
bad.
I should also say, adding on to the Dream lineup, like the Stooges
Yeah,
with Mike Watt,
Mike White is probably my favorite bass player of all time.
and
I was so excited for this lineup.
produced by Steve Albini.
You can tell by the drums. The drums sound fucking awesome on here.
Yeah, this should have been a home run, but the next 2 songs
Oh boy.
are
Oh.
spectacularly bad.
Oh, dude, this almost got me excited by the end of it. I was like, I can't believe how bad this is. I don't even think In Space by Big Star was even remotely close to how bad this is.
Yeah,
So many things don't hold a candle to how bad this is. And I think this is one of the greatest bands that's ever existed. And to put out something this upsetting is crazy.
talking about awful lyrics. She took my money. He says, well, I never fell for the power of titties or the pussy with disease, which is a lie.
It's a complete lie.
It's a lie.
Listen, man, we've all fallen for it. No, Iggy specifically.
Well, obviously, yes, he's disease-ridden. And then on the next, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. He has a song called Double D's,
yeah,
where he's talking about how much he loves titties.
How much you can't resist.
So it's just...
All right, listen, I don't think these are well-written products of the soul and his beliefs. These are just garage rock kids.
Lyrics. Yeah.
I put no merit on the words on this album, nor the riffs, because they're all bad. They're all riff. Like the Stooges have always been simple.
Yes.
They've always been simple. But this is
sad.
This is really upsetting. I've heard riffs written by 13-year-olds that can beat this. Not beat, but you know what I mean. Just that are more interesting than this. Like, I don't hate the title track that much, and I think the bass is cool on My Ideal of Fun, and also Mexican guy. Aside from the hilarious lyrics, I don't think the music isn't awful by this album standards. I'll go all these. They're not awful by this album standards. Still awful by Stooges standards and garage rock standards.
Mexican Guy is the most fun song on here because it's so unhinged.
It's about him losing his girl to a Mexican guy. Or something like that.
Yeah, it's purely like he just picked words because they sound good.
Yeah.
And I think the end of this album fares better than the first half. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
Like Passing Cloud and I'm Fired are better songs. I think if they had it's not even possible. I think if they did like the Skull Ring songs and said, let's save these for a Stooges album instead of your album. And they did the Skull Ring songs with the end of this album. I think it'd be an okay album instead of an awful album.
Right. The thing about Passing Cloud, I like that. I think that main riff is solid, and I think the saxophones are really good. But boy, do I fucking loathe the rest. Like I hate it, and it's like it comes on. I'm like, okay, all right, it's already too far into the album for it to save anything, but at least this is fine. And then the song eventually turns to shit. I'm like, God damn it, man, God damn. And then really, there's so few good things to say about this, and I really wish I could.
I will say one of the better songs, but I feel like it's a lazy song, is they cover the Beatles' "I Want to Be Your Man."
Oh man,
I think it's an okay cover, but this feels like, oh, we have a song called "I Want to Be Your Dog."
That's we should
do "I Want to Be Your Man," and that's all it feels like.
That's what it feels like. Except the songs don't have anything in common. Otherwise, I mean, "I Want to Be Your Man" is like this cute, romantic, poppy song, and then "I Want to Be Your Dog" is a grimy garage rock song. Also, like it feels complete. It almost feels like a shitty bonus track. Like why? Like okay, you're ending with a bad cover now.
Yeah, it does almost feel like a bonus track. But for what it is, I don't think it's that awful.
Oh, you mean the cover?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like maybe if that was released as a single or something instead of just thrown on the end here.
It's so much more of a bummer because I like the performances. So well, not Iggy. Iggy sounds. I don't know if I've ever heard Iggy sound this bad ever. He's not doing any of the things he does the low croon on certain like 2 tracks, but he's so old and quivery. I really like those. It makes me laugh, and it's better.
I really like those old man Iggy Pop vocals.
Objectively, it is a lot better than what he's doing on every other song, where he's like, he's almost trying to do stuff that he did on Search and Destroy and fucking, your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. But he's just old and his voice is shot to shit. So he's missing notes. He's just flailing, man. It sounds like he's drowning. So, but I mean, aside from him, everyone else sounds very Stooges. It's like the guitars are scrapey and messy, but they're on it. They're on it. Everything like it's produced like a really good garage rock album. I mean, Albini's awesome.
The songs are awful.
Yeah, it's just the songs are bad, and that's fucking sad. But are you surprised? They're a fucking million years old.
I disagree. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna save it for. I'm gonna try to kind of tie it together on the next album. Because I don't want to. Yeah, I
remember when this came out, and I was like. I heard awful things, and I was like, I'm not going to do it to myself. I know.
I was scared to listen to this. Was my first time listening to it. Same. I have put it off when damn near like 12 years I have, because I've been so scared, and I was right.
yeah, unfortunately. And unfortunately, everything all the really horrendous things that I heard weren't exaggerating in the slightest. It is that bad. God damn, it's a fucking bummer. It's clearly the worst. But
and then Ron goes on to die of a heart attack.
That's right. Yeah. What year was that?
2009.
2 years later. Jesus.
2 years later. So that's kind of cool. He got to kind of
one last hurrah.
Yes, that's the term I was looking for.
Also, it's a little old to be touring. I mean, not everyone is Iggy Pop.
No,
he's an exception.
And then, for some reason, I didn't even know this album. This next one, I didn't even know it existed.
Really?
I had no fucking clue.
I think I had heard it existed maybe once or twice in the past 5 years, but didn't really it didn't sink in because eventually everyone died. So that kind of overshadowed this album completely.
That's a good point. But so with Ron, laid to rest, there's only one person.
Only one man left for the job. The one and only.
James Williamson. And then so you get they do the Iggy and the Stooges label again.
Back to Iggy and the Stooges. This time, not even necessary to do that. It's just might as well. James, I mean, that's just whenever James is there, Iggy turns into a solo guy again, whether it's Kill City or Iggy the Stooges.
Yeah, well, they try to say, like, if it's not Ron playing lead guitar, it's Iggy and the Stooges.
Which is a very arbitrary kind of. It doesn't matter. It's just the fucking whatever. It's still the Stooges, but whatever. We're back with James, and this is the last album, and here we go. This is 2013's Ready to Die.
I think this is infinitely better than anything and everything on the Weirdness.
I agree. I don't think this is a great song, but it is better than pretty much every song on the last album.
I like this album a million more times than I thought I would. A million more times.
So Iggy sounds a little bit more like Iggy. Like he's doing the double tracking vocals, which I hate. But it is objectively the way to go when you're as old as him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's doing the low croon for most of this album.
I think this album is the album people wanted.
Really? From the last one?
Given, I don't know if we'll see how it's viewed maybe like 10 years from now.
Okay.
I don't think anyone would call it a classic.
I hope not.
Obviously, we feel very different ways, but to me, this album was very satisfying.
Really?
I kind of gave my hand away before we started recording by telling you that I was looking at purchasing this album.
Here's the thing.
You didn't even think...
I didn't even put that together because I thought it was just more of the novelty of it being just the Stooges.
Yeah.
Less so than you actually... So you like this album?
I like this album.
Holy shit. I really fucking hated it.
I think Burn and Sex and Money are fucking fun.
Dude, you're right. You're right. Sex and Money is... Those backup female vocals are hilarious. They're so fucking... And the saxes are pretty good. They're not bad.
I love the commentary on Job and Gun. Specifically, Job.
I want to throw up.
Job, like... I love it, because it comes from, you were talking about earlier that this is the only thing Iggy Pop can do.
Yeah.
And I think he said he saw, Mitt Romney say, everyone's going to have a job when I'm president. And he's like, I have a job, and I'm broke.
Yeah.
Fuck your job.
Yeah.
Unless it's substantial, it doesn't mean anything. So it's very much a reaction to Iggy. This is his life.
This is what he does. This is all he can do. And so Job, I want you to put on Job because the vocals here sound like he's joking. They sound like a joke.
It kind of is a joke, though.
They are so hilarious. It also sounds like a bad TVI knockoff.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I think it totally works as this satire. I'm a diseased, riddled
old man
who only knows rock and roll.
I get that. It's just so fucking funny. I think Gun is one of the most hard to sit through songs I've heard.
Really?
It's so fucking bad.
Man. And then we talk. Okay, so this is why I'm for Old Man Iggy Pop is because of this album, and then Post Pop Depression, what she did with Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age.
When did that come out?
Let me look it up. But if you guys haven't heard Post Pop Depression, it's one of his even though I haven't really listened to his solo albums, it's amazing.
Really?
Especially for old man stuff.
I want to hear that.
They came out 2016.
Okay. That's interesting. I had never heard of that. I'm a begrudging Josh Homme fan. Like,
I've noticed.
Yeah, I love what he does, but I don't want to like him. I wish I didn't like him. I think he gets too much praise, but I can't deny some fucking album. Dude, so
I think it's deserved. But
I know.
So yeah, just off post-pop depression and this album, and even though you don't like it, but I think these two albums show old man Iggy can do it.
So I have two stories. Well, one story and then a comment. So one story about Josh Homme. I dated this girl and she was like in music business kind of stuff, and she hates Queens of the Stone Age. And she has like good taste in music, but she hates it. I'm like, how do you fucking like all this good shit, but you can't appreciate that they're like objectively a good rock band? She hates them. So
interesting. So
she hated them that much. And then when Like Clockwork came out, which is my favorite Queens album.
It's great.
It's a great album. When that came out, one of the people at the label, they had to show her company like a pre-screening. Like her company she had to sit down with her entire company to listen to it before it came out. So the guy, it was so apparently under wraps. I don't know if I shouldn't be talking about this, but whatever. We don't talk anymore. That the guy couldn't trust the mail, so he had to fly over with a copy of the album to sit down in the room with them to listen to the album.
Holy shit!
And it was like this big deal, and she hated the band that much. She's like, I don't fucking care. So she's in this boardroom listening to Clockwork beginning to end with all these execs, and even she was like, that one wasn't that bad. Like, you're fucking goddamn right. It's a great album. But that was my stupid little Josh Homme story. But the reason, the second thing is Iggy's old man voice. Unfriendly World is like, it's this novel acoustic ballad. I think it's super goofy, but I really appreciate it. I need you to put it on because Iggy sounds like he's 10,000 years old. And it is the most wonderful, hopelessly old sounding thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I love those vocals. I love them.
Here's my question. Could a voice get any closer to my ears?
No. It's right there.
They're right in there.
It's right there, and that's why I love it.
It's tearing up my mind. Plastic snowflakes in the air.
Holy shit, man. That is so old.
I don't know. It works for me. And then the other ballad, which is for Ron, is The Departed.
Oh, yeah.
Which I like The Departed a lot.
You know what? I thought kind of like the one we just put on. I thought it was Iggy's voice was like super distracting because of how old he sounds and how close he is, or how close it's mixed. But it's like such a cowboy song with lap steel, and it's super odd for a Stooges song. It doesn't make any sense, but it's fucking nice.
It works.
It's nice.
It really works.
Yeah.
And then an interesting song, I think, is Beat That Guy.
I was going there next as well.
The uplifting female vocals
come out of fucking nowhere
with the big drum sound. Yeah,
it's like there are all these angelic vocals come out of, like, it again. It's super Western, Ennio Morricone kind of style. Where it's like that's not a Stooges thing. That's odd, but it's fine.
It's got like a Western vibe to it.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how ridiculous Double D's.
Dude, it's fun though. You know that song. It sounds like it should be in Kill City.
Okay.
Those are the kind of saxes that are all over Kill City.
Okay.
Which is another funny thing because
and then they brought back Steve McKay.
Oh, same dude. Sounds like it. Sounds just like it. I'm assuming he's the one who played on Kill City. I'm gonna Google it just to double check, but it certainly sounds just like him.
But this album I thought is a nice little surprise. I don't think, we'll see how people feel about it a few years from now. But I think,
just quick side note, it actually wasn't him on Kill City. It's a guy named John Hardin, which is completely unexpected, but go on.
Yeah, I think if they had done this album instead of the Weirdness, it would have.
I think it would have still been received harshly, but not even
as harsh.
Because it's first of all, it's not them trying to be the Stooges, quote unquote.
No, this is like what you think. It's these old men, like, and I think that's totally fine.
It's way better. It's way better to just, what are you? You're a bunch of old men who want to play some music. Do that.
Yes.
You don't need to be these young, wild fucking animals the way you were. It's clearly not how it is. I do like the title track. Don't think that one's too bad at all. But again, it's just fucking. I like its diversity. I appreciate how the acoustic ballads. I don't love them, but they come in and they mix it up. They keep it from just being derivative garage rock. But still, I fucking would not choose to put this on again. I can't.
Oh man, yeah. I'm surprisingly, I'm going to listen to this.
I can't believe
again,
it.
For
Wild.
some reason.
Never know what to expect in this fucking show. Goddamn.
I wasn't expecting this either. And like I said, I didn't even know this album existed until now. So
I still think like, why couldn't it? I mean, I guess it's like the little bits of purist in me where like they had a perfect discography. It was short, but it was perfect. And then they come in with these fucking stains. God damn.
Yeah.
It's just like this one, while it is better than the Weirdness, it still probably should have been an Iggy solo album. Like,
yeah, I think it may have like been received better as an Iggy solo album too.
Yeah, than a band with like such a legacy as the Stooges. Like, but again, who gives a shit? And ultimately.
And then very similar to his brother, Scott died a year after this. Of a heart attack.
Dude, man.
And then like props to Iggy and James, because they're like, those two guys were the Stooges. It doesn't make sense to.
So they just called it quits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it is.
They're like the Stooges are dead.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Iggy Pop is Iggy Pop. He's not the Stooges, which is a wonderful thing to really embrace. Embrace period, but especially that he's so old now. And he's like, yeah, what? You got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
There's very few bands that really do that where they just say, oh, we lost a member. We're done now. And the one that comes to mind immediately is Sun City Girls. I don't think they reunited. I hope not, or else I just shot on my own point. I'm gonna Google it as we speak. Have you ever heard them?
I have not.
They have a massive discography. It's a super experimental band. Really, really, like a lot of it is really good stuff too. No, yeah, they stayed broken up. Really good stuff. Really interesting, wild. Not for everybody. But the drummer died, and they said, "Okay, we're done. There's no more Sun City Girls.
Yeah,
one person's gone. That's it."
That's great.
And it's actually, I highly recommend. I'm gonna look up the name of it because I'm forgetting. Funeral Mariachi is their last studio album. Gorgeous album, amazing album, haunting. And you hear on the album how minimal the drums are because the dude was already getting sick and is already like dying.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like when you put that into context, it makes a really good album even more kind of devastating and beautiful.
Yeah.
Sun City Girls, great band. Everyone listen to them. But Stooges, yeah, they called it quits. Everyone died. But
much like David Lee Roth outliving Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, I know.
Iggy Pop, the one who should have died.
A billion times over. How in the world, man?
Outlived them all.
It's like your only option is to go to turn your gauge up to 20 to outrun death.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you're fucking up your life or you're going a little bit too like you're not going full in with your drug use and your insanity, then death will catch you. I don't get it, man. David Lee Roth, how the fuck did you outlive Eddie? God damn.
Or Ozzy outliving Dio.
Oh yeah, it's almost it's just kind of unfair if you're looking at it from a just like, by the numbers standpoint of how you live your life.
Like I lived my life the right way.
That goes to show you there is no right way to live anything. Yeah. Just do what you can while you got it, which is really kind of sad to think about. But fucking A, man. Still, Stooges, undeniable band.
First 3 albums, classics, and
yeah.
Anyone who enjoys heavy music, I think
you have to.
You can't deny these out.
You're just a liar or you're wrong. Those just the 2 options. But quick recap.
Personal, best, Raw Power, worst, least favorite, The Weirdness.
And best album, personal favorite, Funhouse, and same. Weirdness is definitely the worst. My God. It's so weird how a band, not a band, but like how an album can just miss everything that hard.
With such a we're still dwelling on it.
I know it's just
it was such a
blow.
The stars align. You got Mike Watt, you got Steve Albini, the Asheton brothers are back.
Yeah. But whatever, we still have the greats. Anyway, whatever. Thank you so much for listening and watching. This is a fucking fun one. This was now.
What we clock in at, Mike?
We're clocking in. We are clocking in at 1:20, right between your call and my call.
So Price is Right rules.
Price is Right.
You win.
No, Price is Right. You win.
Yes.
Wait. You win. No, I win because you went over.
Yeah, I went over. Over.
So I guess. Sure.
Then damn it.
But what the hell was I saying? Yeah. This is a band that I've been wanting to cover for a long time, but you never know when the right time is for a big band. But fucking, it doesn't matter. Numbers mean nothing. We're just gonna cover it when we cover it. Somehow
that's not true. You love numbers.
I do love numbers. I'm neurotic as shit, dude.
Specifically did it because it was episode 70 and there was 70s band.
60.
Sorry.
It's 60.
Man, I have no sense of time in a pandemic and doing a podcast every week. I have no sense of time.
For some reason, I thought 60, like, they seem like a bunch of 60-year-olds. Why the fuck not? That's how ridiculous my brain is. But I'm glad to have covered them. If you would like to support us, which I really hope at this point you do, because we are good people, subscribe on youtube.com/everyalbumever, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex at
Mother Puncture.
We post what band we're currently covering. So if you want to, stay up to date and send DMs or messages or emails based on that artist, your picks for best and worst, whatever, or not, you can do all that. Email any thoughts or suggestions for artists at everyalbumever at gmail.com. And there will be a Spotify playlist. There should be a link in the description of wherever you're listening or watching, along with every other episode at everyalbumever.com. Yada, yada, yada. Share clips, tell friends. That would be very nice to grow and all that stuff.
Subscribe, review. Did you say that already?
Yeah.
I'm saying it again.
Well, the reviews, like, fucking, 5-star rating on iTunes or whatever. I don't care. I mean, I do care. I care more about people engaging and listening and, I care more about the quality more than the quantity. That's a thing that I tend to do with all of the stuff that I make. But
I'm going to fight these algorithms. I'm going to figure out a way to put them in a robotic human body. I'm going to fight these algorithms.
Oh, you're just going to beat them up?
I'm going to beat them up.
Yeah, just do a couple of DDTs.
Sweet chin musics.
Hell yeah. But it's because Alex so graciously handed me last song. I was thinking about it. I was like, is this going to be a hard one? It's not going to be a hard one. Because in my heart of hearts, I know it's got to be Gimme Danger.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. This fucking...
Take your time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening and watching, everybody. See ya!